Hi, I'm Dan from Ausgel,
And I'm Lee from M4A1.
and today I'm chatting with the humblest of humble techs, Lee from M4A1. All right, well, thank you for joining us, Lee. You've been in the teching in this industry for some time now.
Yep.
Tell us about where you came from and how all of this began for you.
We'll dive into it. I suppose I used to be still am a mechanic by trade. I was looking for a hobby to keep me busy. In nighttime, you can only work out so much, so I found these crazy things called gel blasters, and started going crazy with them.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's really good.
Yep.
And you're part of Gel Ball Team Primal. Tell us a bit about them.
Yep. We've got Primal Tech Armory. We new on the scene in Speedsoft, Australia. That's just a group of mates. We've all got together, and we're just having a lot of fun. Trying to showcase,
So what's your gig then? What are you guys doing? You're like mill simmers, speedball. Like what's your thing?
We are mainly CQB. We do go to the outdoor fields as well. We started out a lot at Twin Waters at the Sunshine Coast.
Experiences headquarters.
Yes, that's it with Ray.
Hey Ray.
Yeah, how you doing, Ray? We used to hang out there a lot more outdoor. And then we slowly started to kind of migrate into the CQB when Tim opened up Urban Gel Ball, and we kind of it's a different rush. The rush of creeping around the corner and getting lit up within
I love that field.
The space of a meter and eating gels is quite different.
So that's like for those at home that don't know, Urban Gel Ball is actually a really close quarters CQB field that's opened up on the Sunshine Coast.
Yes.
And run by Tim and the crew out there at Urban Gel Ball. So shout out to you guys. But I think what you're saying, bang on. I mean, I remember the slop raiders, all went out there. They dragged me along as well. And I mean, you're right. It's, you've got fire lanes that are like 1-2 meters. You turn a corner, there's someone there. So
definitely. Wakes you up quickly.
It does, I actually remember, I think Dally Dog, he's on your team.
Yeah,
and,
Ben is. Yep.
Yeah, Ben. And I remember he was out there on one of the nights we went to visit and absolutely slaughtered people. Like he was just doing laps around the field and just laying waste like a dozen people at a time. Yeah. And I remember thinking that night, I'm going to try and poach this guy. And went over to talk to him about bringing him onto the Slop Raiders under a sponsorship. And he told me he was with you guys.
Sorry, Dan. Yeah, we just got in there.
We'll just have to work on pinching him off you somehow. I don't know. Watch this space, Ben.
Yeah.
All right, so Lee, tell us what your favourite gel blaster is.
Oh, gee, that's such a tough question, Dan. So if we went for straight out of the box, something that you can just purchase.
Yep.
At this current point, it would be the ARP.
Yep. Which one?
The XYL.
XYL. That's Little Moon, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, HLF is still great. That was the first one I actually purchased.
Yep.
I got that one from China. I couldn't wait. But the XYL is actually a little bit nicer.
Yeah, look, I have to agree. Money. That's actually my primary personal blaster is an XYL Little Moon, and I've done like nothing to it. Like maybe put a hop up on there, and absolutely amazing piece of kit, that one. Straight out of the box, don't need to do anything.
Yep.
Yeah, good to go.
No, they are excellent for what they are. Yeah. I mean, otherwise it would be, I don't want to sound egotistical, but something that I built, really.
Yes.
Yeah, just a full ground up build. That's what I'm running all the time.
Well, ironically, that's actually one of the things I like most about you is your humility. It's one of the things I love about you in this industry as a tech, because I think techs naturally in gel ball, and from what I understand in airsoft, can have a certain degree of arrogance about them, and they're always flinging shit at each other and trying to put each other down. But with you, I think one of the most impressive things I noticed was I was with Zach Stiles when that's the Slop Raiders captain, when he dropped his blaster off to you, and one of the first things you said to him was, I don't care where this has come from. I don't want to talk, foul of any other techs. I just want to know what the problems are, and I'm going to address the problem. That's amazing. You don't hear that from other techs. Normally it's, what the hell were they thinking with this? And, this is a piece of shit build. And absolutely amazing that you like that.
Yeah, I can just put it out there in black and white. My stuff breaks. Everybody's stuff breaks. It does not matter what you do, who you are. Gel ball there. We build these things as drag cars, and we expect them to go months and months without even doing any kinds of maintenance. So things do break down. Yeah.
Do you find that kind of frustrating? Do you get people coming back to you at all?
Yeah. So it's I definitely try to help educate the clients that we get. So if I am doing you've got your base model, then you've got your kind of intermediate. I always use cars as the analogy, being mechanical. You've got your Fords, your Falcons, your Commodores. That's like your base. Then you've got kind of like your time attack kind of cars, like your mid-range blast, and then you got your drag cars. And same thing with blasters. If you want a mid-range, it's going to keep going for a long, long time. Cool. And your lower end continues on. Your mid-range is a little bit higher strung, but can get you that distance. Whereas if you want a drag car, people pull them down after each race.
Mate, I think we're going to have to dissect this analogy a little bit more. So I need you to tell me, mate, which blaster is the Commodore of the industry?
Yeah, so your Commodore would be something that's set up with maybe your sintered gear set, pot metal, molybdenadium gear set, a standard motor to a lower end motor, running on your entry-level lipos with your, say, 20C discharge rating, running around that 18 to 20 rounds a second, something like that, running at you can still have them punching higher FPS because it doesn't take that much. Your 3 to 350, no worries. That to me is your basic.
And how about, let's go with, what's the JDM?
Yeah, so, you're getting into your time attack. You can still do... Depending on the gearbox, some of the nylon boxes can withstand decent builds before they flex, and you pop things like your anti-reverse latches and whatnot, and your bushes and all the rest of it without gluing them. So you could do something like, say, your LDT gearbox, a V2. You could move from your molybdenadium, like your sintered gear set, to an SHS gear set. You could run your 18s, 16s, borderline 13s, depending on how fast you're going motor-wise and battery, but something like that running up to, say, an M110 spring. That's going to be quite reliable, depending, obviously, as well, how happy you are with your drum mags and your fingers of just mag dumping these things.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so next thing we are going to talk about is... probably going to be controversial anyway. What do you see as the current pinnacle of teching in the gel blaster industry?
Oh, the pinnacle. So I'll tell you what I hear mainly in the shops. Whenever somebody walks through the front door and they're talking of things like dual sector gears, DSGs, they throw the term around a lot, basically trying to get the response that if you can build a DSG, you're basically God's gift to gel ball. They very loosely throw it around. You don't hear of too many actually functioning long term. Keep going. But something like running a DSG setup or a 14 volt setup is what I hear a lot of. But for myself, I would assume something like the pinnacle would be a fully built blaster with a billet style gearbox of some sort. There's plenty of brands out there with your retro, your MK. You've got your rarer ones you can get through other means, but something like that, fully built in a nice receiver, metal setup. People love metal. I prefer nylon. It's a lot lighter. But yeah, that's kind of where people are heading towards.
So with teching, I remember you and we had this chat offline. I don't know if it was today or yesterday maybe.
Yep.
But we're talking about the different stages of techs as they're getting into the industry.
Oh yeah.
Which I think Airsoft has also experienced. Do you want to just talk us through that? Because I thought that was quite entertaining to hear.
Again, guys, I'm just a dude. I'm not trying to put myself out there as anything full on, but
make sure you attack him if you get offended by this, okay?
Definitely. Come at me. No, it was basically the idea of, and I fall victim to this mindset as well, 100% when I was starting out. You go through a stage where you've got your entry-level tech, just starts teching. Basically, you start to simply pull apart a blaster, put it back together, and if it runs, you're doing well. Then you move on to your your next level of doing your springs and your O-rings, and then you go to gear sets and whatnot. But I think the analogy was with yourself, Dan, that a lot of guys they get into gel ball, they strip apart a blaster, they put it back together with maybe one or two items, then they start professing to the masses that they are techs.
They are the airsoft surgeon. Yeah.
And they're better than anybody else. They are the best thing on the internet. They can do everything better than everyone else. It's quite funny. Yep. I think is almost, if you had a graph, you could kind of plot the data along the lines of, you get into it, you become the best thing ever within the first, say, 6 months. You're God's gift to gel ball, and then you plateau, and then you realize how much you don't know. you get stuck, and then there's a huge amount of learning to go through from that kind of 6 month period into the years to follow. And I'm still well within my journey. I'm only a few years in myself. I think it's to perfect your craft, they say 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours is basically 10 years. 10 years of your 10-hour days or whatnot, something like that. You need a long time. So it is quite funny. Yeah.
That's it, and speaking of such things, I know that some people tend to have a bit of an issue on how much a good tech will charge or cost.
Yep.
And, I think this is another conversation we've had, but I personally feel like if I'm paying a good tech good money, I'm not paying for their time. If they can do something that takes them 2 minutes, but they do it perfectly well, I'm willing to pay for that, because you're not paying for that actual labour. You're paying for their experience.
Definitely, yeah.
Similar to being a mechanic, I'd imagine.
Exactly the same. Yeah, exactly the same as mechanical. I mean, it any kind of trade, really. Anybody who is 5 years, 10 years down there, down their journey of perfecting whatever craft they're into, you're paying for that life experience, which you can't get anywhere else from a 6 month guy or a 6 week guy who,
Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, Lee, do you have any advice for anyone out there who's considering getting into the teching side of gel blasters?
Yeah, definitely. Start off easily. Don't jump in too deep. Don't go out and buy the most expensive parts.
DSG.
Yeah, no. Simply start off with something easy. I mean, you've got your Gen 8. That is extremely easy. If you don't like the M4 platform, go straight to UMP, nylon shell, get yourself a Gen 8 gearbox and just start learning how to do your simple things. Simply get it together first, then pull it back down. Try something like a spring and an O-ring, get it back together, see if it works, go and have some fun with it at a game day. Next thing would be a barrel, a hop-up. And that's enter into it nicely. Don't go, all right, first build, I'm going to go straight out and get a billet gearbox. I'm going to get these crazy gears, 12 to 1s with a 50,000 RPM motor, and then go straight to 11 volt or 11 volt 50C or something stupid
22.2 volt, why stop?
Yeah, exactly. Get your Makita power pack on there and
oh, geez.
Just start off simple and ask someone for help. Many people out there in this game pretend they know everything. I can guarantee you a lot of the guys, like myself, spend hours and hours trawling the net trying to find anything we can to help us on our way. And then also spend the hours. They spend time, lots and lots of time, going through different ratios of gears, what works. There's so much you can learn. Take your time.
I think that's some pretty good advice, actually. And if you ever get to a point where you've built a blaster and, you've stuffed it up, you need to take it to a tech. Yeah. I personally recommend that people do their research as well,
Definitely.
Obviously, I like using Lee for a lot of my builds, but and I've also used Josh from RPS.
Yep.
But one of the things that I will always say is just do your own research first. Have a look around the forums. Don't take my word for it. Yeah. Don't take Lee's word for it. He'll be biased. He'll tell you to go to him. But just ask everyone. You generally what I find in gel ball is if someone has a good reputation for doing good work, if you ask in the forums or if you ask on the various Facebook pages, you will have some people come back and normally it'll be a whole bunch of people saying, this is the person that I go to. And you'll see the patterns. So
that's right. Yeah, look for the reputation. It's the same as cars again, same as PT, anything like that. If you've got a reputation, well, there's a reason for that. You can't buy a reputation. That drops off after a while. You can to a certain point, but then the reality kicks in. So, do your research.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks for your time again today, Lee. Really appreciate it, mate. Can you let us know how we can find you?
Definitely. Where we stand right now, the Moray Field Mega Store. That's M4A1 Gel Blaster.
Beautiful place.
You can find me on the M4A1GelBlaster.com YouTube videos. So YouTube. We have Instagram and Facebook as well with M4A1GelBlaster.com. Everything over $30 free shipping.
Little bitch.
And then other than that, if it's a more personal level, you could find me at Primal Tech Armory. That's with the Speed QB team, or Lee Cgels on Instagram, Facebook. But I don't really go on Facebook. So.
You on Tinder or anything like that, mate? Or?
Look, I told my partner I deleted that. So
okay, yeah. All right, no, we're just joking. Yeah. We're just joking. Please don't castrate him when he gets home.
Definitely not on Tinder or Grindr. Although I hear that some of our staff are on Grindr. So yeah.
Okay, nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. Find your M4A1 local on Grindr. All right. Okay, well, look, thanks very much again, Lee. And guys, I'm Dan from Ausgel. As always, you can find us at www.ausgel.com.au. Also on YouTube as Ausgel and Facebook right here as Ausgel. Also on Instagram at AusgelAmmo. And we are also on TikTok if you really must go and see us on TikTok. Thanks, guys. Catch ya.
Thank you.